So I named this video How This Forex Trader Wins Even When He Loses. And since that's what you clicked on the video for, let me just give it to you. Here's how this Forex trader, wins even when he loses. I trade with nothing but support and resistance, and I've been trading 7 years. 5 of those years have been profitable, and I've made millions of dollars trading Forex, crypto, and stocks. And here's what I do, mainly on Forex. So when price comes to a resistance zone, there's going to be clusters of support resistance zones, right? It's a bunch of stuff here. Here's how I win even when I lose. If I sell right here at this zone, let's just say I sell at one standard lot, we'll represent this with a little cute red arrow. If price goes above this zone, instead of getting stopped out, I just hedge. I enter a buy at one standard lot. And the market will do one of two things, right? It'll go to the next zone, then maybe bounce, or it'll come back to retest the first zone and then maybe bounce. Here's how I make money even when I lose, or here's how I win whenever I lose. Whenever price goes up, I just get hedged, so it's not a stop loss. I just get hedged, and I just stay in the hedge until price either comes back to touch the first zone or it continues to the second zone. So let's say in the case that price comes back to test this support zone here, I'll close my first sell position in either a small profit, a break even, or a small loss. Then I'll just leave the buy open. Then if price bounces there and it goes to the next zone, I make a profit. I win even when I lose. Now, what if price instead, what if it goes to the next zone? It just continues up instead to the next zone. Well, it's very simple. Ideally, it would be a little bit more clear, a little bit more clearly defined. I'll simply close the buy and profit there, and then I'll add a sell. And then if it bounces there, which it will 50% of the time, price comes back down, I can close this sell and a small loss and this sell and a small profit. And since they're the same lot size, they'll roughly basket out to break even between the basket of those two trades. That's it. That's how I win even when I'm wrong. Now what happens if this second trade continues to go up? Well, normally what I'll do is I'll just close that second sell position there at a small loss. I'll re-hedge the first position, and then I'll do the same thing. I'll wait for price to either break and retest this zone, roll out of the sell at break even, enter a buy, or just hold the original buy. Then if it bounces up and make a profit, or if it keeps rocketing up even further to the next zone, I'll close the buy and profit and add a sell, and I'll just keep doing this until price eventually bounces. Price always bounces somewhere 50% of the time. If you enter randomly on the chart, price will go up or it will go down. You have a 50% win rate, even if you do nothing right. That is how I win even when I lose. And I'll show you a bunch of positions I'm actually losing right now. So some trades that I'm literally in right now that are losing. And first, let me just actually show you my legit terminal because I call all these trades live. Let's go to my next trade. This is my close friends group. This is here's a trade, for instance, that I'm in on GBP USD right here, where I thought price was going to reject the resistance and go down, and I'm wrong. So price is instead broken above the zone. It's going up. I'm actually in all these trades right now, and I'm in a little bit of a drawdown here. This is a 54, 55K account and a little bit of drawdown. And the crazy part is that 95% of the time, I will be able to get out of all my baskets of losing trades at either a tiny loss, a break even most of the time, or a small profit most of the time. This happens 90 to 95% of the time. And I say this objectively because if you want to see for yourself, you can go here to my free Telegram channel, and the last thing that I've posted in there is literally a link to the last close friends group that I ran. And in this close friends group, you can scroll back. This is from last year. This is from like over 6 months ago. You can scroll through all my trades of me showing myself taking a $50,000 account to $100,000. And you can literally see how I roll out of trades time and time again at a break even or a small profit or a small loss 90 to 95% of the time. I barely do anything. All I really do is I just wait for major support resistance zones. They're normally on the daily chart. I set alerts at them. When price gets there, I enter a buy if it's a support, or I sell if it's a resistance. It bounces there half the time, and if it does bounce there half the time, even if I'm wrong on the first try, I'll still come out and make a net profit. Here's this right here. This is an account that was like, the equity is 38K, balance is 45K. It's me managing trades, scaling in. When everything finally turns around and bounces, it all comes back into profit. And I just do this over and 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 over. I simply enter a trade at support or resistance. I hedge if I'm wrong. And I wait for price to get to the next zone. Every now and then I get to a chart and I find out that I have zero fucking clue what I think is going to happen. If I don't know what's going to happen, I'll just close my trade at break even if it's still floating around break even, or I'll just hedge and I'll just wait for the next zone. For GBP USD, this is a trade that I took. I sold here at resistance because I thought this was the resistance right here. So I thought price was breaking and retesting this zone. So when price broke the zone, came to test it, I entered a sell. That ended up not being the case. It ended up breaking above the zone. So what did I do here? Well, I just did what I always do. I just hedge. I hedge if it doesn't work out, then I'll just wait for the next zone. How am I going to get out of this in profit? Well, a couple of ways. For one, price could come back into this support zone and test this support, at which point I could close my sells all around break even or in a small profit. Then I could add a buy. Then if it just bounces up a little bit back to the first buy, that buy will be a break even, and the second buy I entered will be a profit, not to mention the profitable sell trades I close. If price continues up from here and goes to this resistance, I'll just close the buy hedge in profit. Then I'll add a sell. Then if everything bounces back about to like right here, I'll just close everything at a net break even, having made profit on the buy and having broken even on all the sells. I'll still make a profit even if I'm wrong, which I have been wrong. Now what if price just hits this zone, I close the buy, add a sell, and it keeps going up? Well, it's no problem. I'll just close that second sell there at a small loss. And then what I'll do is I'll hedge, I'll enter a buy. Then the market can run around wherever it wants and it's not going to be any more loss or any less profit. And if it comes back to retest this zone, I'll simply just close these sells around break even at that zone, and then I'll buy. I'll get net long. That way, if price bounces from there and goes up, I'll make a profit. And if it breaks this zone, I will do the same damn thing. I'll close the buy at a small loss, I'll hedge again, and then I'll just wait for the next zone. Doing this over and over allows you to profit, even whenever you're wrong. And I'm not promising you anything or guaranteeing you anything. All I'm saying is for me, this works 90 to 95% of the time, where I do not even have to be right to make money on the trade. I win even when I lose, 90 to 95% of the time. I'll show you the last one here, CHFJPY, and I'll actually show you this live, what I'm about to do. I'm currently hedged on this trade, and I'll literally call this out right now in my close friends group. That way you can see exactly how it works. So for everyone, I'm closing CHF JPY, and I'll put the buy. I am closing the buy on CHF JPY here and adding a sell. So it's very simple, and I'll put a screenshot of what it looks like right now. And then I'll close this buy. Then I will add a sell. And I'll show you what it looks like, and I'll show you my current terminal, and I'll show you how everything's managed, and I'll walk you through the trade. I will literally show it all. So let me just post all the screenshots in here. I call every single trade live in my close friends group, and I've been doing this group for about a year. We've been profitable every single month for a year. Actually, I think we had like one break-even month, but overall net profitable. And I've grown a $50,000 account to $100,000 6 times in a row. This will be my 7th account I'm doing this on. Currently, it sits at like 51K in equity. So once all these roll out of the loss, it'll be back to break even. But a lot of these should not only come back to break even, but will also be profitable. So I will make money even when I'm wrong on this trade. So now I'm short on CHF JPY. So you can see I had a sells here because I thought price was going to bounce at the first resistance. And this was that first resistance I thought price would bounce at. I've since removed it from the chart because it's no longer relevant. So I sold right there. Price broke above it, and I just hedged. I just entered a buy for the same lot sizing as my 2 sells. This is 1.8 lot short, so I entered a 1.8 lot long. And that protected me as price went up. So now I've made like a $600 profit on that. And I've also added a sell position right there at that zone. Now let's look at what happens. If it's true that price is just random and it just goes up and down 50% of the time, then it doesn't matter what type of trading approach you use because you're not even really trying to predict the market. You're just trying to profit from wherever the market does in fact go. And it doesn't matter where it goes because you can still profit from it. The reason I like just support and resistance because it gives you a clear risk structure. That's all. There's no predictive power in support and resistance. I don't have to be right, nor do I obsess over being right. If price breaks above this zone about to right here, we'll go set the alert in a second. Then I'll just simply close that at a small loss. I'll re-hedge these first two positions, and then I'll wait for it to run up to the next resistance or to come back and test this as support before managing the trade. All price has to do is just bounce once. I can be wrong 2, 3, 4 times in a row and still make a profit or come out and break even or a little bit of a loss, but it's usually not really that big of a loss. And I just do this over and over. So now that I've made profit on the buy going up, if price just pulls back here to this previous zone, because remember this was a previous resistance zone, now it might turn to support. So if price comes back to there, I'll make around, this might be like $1,000 worth of profit, and then I'll break even on both of these trades. So that'll mean that even though I was completely wrong, I made profit on the buy going up, and if it does in fact bounce here and it goes down, then I'll make like a $1,000 profit on the sell, and then break even on both of these trades, probably like net, probably like right in here somewhere. So that means I will have made $600 on the buy going up and maybe $1,000 on the sells going down, and then break even on these first two. And I was completely wrong, yet I still won. I won even when I lose. This will be about a $1,600 winner. It's really cool because it gets you to just be way more chill with seeing open drawdown, because you know that like, well, it's just a matter of time before price gets to the next zone. And once it does in fact get to the next zone, well, it's cool. You know, you just manage your trade there at that next zone. It's not complicated. It's just support and resistance using hedging and dollar cost averaging as a risk structure. I have a real specific way that I do sizing on all these trades. You can see how I do sizing here in the planning of the trade and the management. So I'll show you here a trade that I called. For instance, this USD-JPY trade that I called yesterday. It was a buy at the support, broke and retest the daily support level. So I'm entering a buy on USD-JPY with this lot size, this invalidation. Since I don't use stop losses, I don't call it the stop loss area. I just call it an invalidation zone. It's the area where I calculate my lot size based off of. So if I enter a buy right there and price goes all the way 550 pips down here, that will be my max risk for that trade. So that way I'm not getting in too heavy and sizing whenever I'm entering a trade. How likely is it to go all the way down there without me correcting it beforehand? It's very unlikely. I almost never have my invalidations hit without managing a trade before it. And even if it is, it's a 3,000 pound risk. So it's not that big of a deal. This is a GBP account that I'm on. So this account being in GBP, it's like 1,000 pounds of risk, or sorry, 3,000 pounds of risk. And then I'll either take profit at the next zone, or I'll hedge it and wait for the next zone and try to enter a buy and roll out of it over time. It is what it is. A lot of times when price just moves to the next zone, you can just simply add into the drawdown, which is dollar cost averaging. And I only do that personally if price is at an area where I think it's likely to bounce at. Because I don't personally see the problem with adding in drawdown and adding to a loser if you think that price is likely to bounce at the next zone. This was just our last 2 weeks in here of profits. This was 5,800, so minus commissions, a little over $5,000 profit. And that's kind of a slow week, honestly. Like, we had really good wins on these trades here. This was where I closed these like last week. We sold EJ and GJ at major daily resistance zones, and that worked out great. And it's just the same old stuff over and over and over. If you actually want to follow me, send out like live trades and analysis for free, you can click to join my free Telegram channel. It's the first link in the description. This is not financial advice. Oh wait, this is here it is, the free Telegram channel. As you can see, I share all my analysis. The actual CHF-JPY trade I take, I call my exact specific trades to clients, but oftentimes I'll throw y'all bones in here by typing shit like this, like CHF-JPY is ready. But I won't share the exact specifics because I have to save something for the paid members. But in the close friends group, it's like I call all my trades out, as well as have the group chat where people can literally ask me like questions in here. Gabriel, $250 well spent on this verbal abuse group. It's like shock therapy. So Gabriel had tagged me in here and asked me, hey, I think this is a good trade. What do you think of the zone? And I literally just responded to him a few minutes later and said, complete dog water, as a joke. And then I put JK, waiting on the daily low. So then I sent him my chart and showed Gabriel what I was kind of waiting for, where I have my alert at and what I'm doing. And then it helps people out. It just kind of helps speed up the the learning curve for people. We had Sam here and said, I do see some rejection on the 1 hour and 4 hour in this zone on UJ, maybe an extra buy. Since I was waiting for a little bit lower on this, what I can tell Sam here is like, I was waiting for a bit lower, bro bear. And then what I'll do is I'll do stuff like this where I send out like a screenshot. And let's not confuse Sam. Let's delete this zero fucking clue thing here. And instead, I will just throw this zone in here and show him, because this is where my alert's at right there. It's just a support resistance zone. So I'll show him where I think price might go. And then I'll draw a little arrow too so people can kind of see like what I'm sort of visualizing. But it's all based on support resistance, bounces of support resistance. It's literally nothing else. I don't use indicators. I don't use Fibonacci. I don't use market maker, liquidity, bank manipulation, order flow, accumulation, Wagyu beef, bullish candlestick, fair value gap strategy. I don't use any of this crazy shit that a lot of people use. I just use support and resistance, and I openly admit that I'm only right half the time. But even with that all being the case and me barely doing anything, after 7 years I still remain profitable for 5 years in a row. So it is what it is. All I do is I keep things simple and control risk. If you'd like to follow my analysis and trades live, hit the link in the description of this video. And if this is about the first day or two that you're seeing this video, you can just scroll up in that free Telegram channel to find the link to actually go and look at the literal previous close friends group back when we were running it on Telegram before we switched to Discord. And you can literally see all my trades that I had called live. Literally everything. You just go here to Telegram. It's this right here. I'll even I'll pin this so that way if you're watching this video a few days from now, you just scroll up here to the pinned message. And then you'll see there's 2 pinned messages. One is like a risk disclaimer. This one will be the one that's pinned, and you can actually legit just go through and scroll through all of my trades. This was like last year in November. Again, I've been running the close friends group for like a year, taking accounts over and over 6 times in a row from 50K to 100K, and calling every single trade live and showing people every single trade with every single update, every single step of the way. I literally share everything. I believe that if people are going to trade and teach how to trade, they got to be transparent. I show all my live terminal P&L. I show literally everything, the statements, the P&L history, the live trades as they're playing out and as I enter them. I share literally every single thing. If your guru doesn't do the same, you might want to find a new guru. I'm not saying that it's me, but the subscribe button is right there, and the like button is also down there as well, in case you're looking to have a threesome with the like button and the subscribe button. Hope to see you in the next video, and thanks for watching. Nick. From Nick. Like a fucking letter. From Nick. This was Nick. I hope you have a great rest of the day.